Good day, everybody. Welcome back. Well, there's this shoebox. It's Merrill brand shoes. My wife's shoes, orange and black box. And she wanted to know if I could use it for anything, and so I took it from her, and then it hung around the office. I decided it was clutter. I threw it in the trash, and then I decided, or in the recycles, and then I decided, I might be able to use that. So I took it back, and so what am I doing here? Well, this is a Fujinon 135 f5.6 large format, 4x5 format view camera lens. I use it normally with my Intrepid, but you'll notice on the Merrill box there is a little hole in the side, like along the edge here. It's just built that way. So I took a razor knife and very crudely cut a hole in the middle of the lid, and then I taped a piece of printer paper to the inside of the box on the bottom, and then I'm going to stick this lens right here, and see that hole right there? Yeah, that's right, there's a hole right there. And guess what you can do with that hole? You can use it as your viewfinder for focusing. That's right, you can actually look at it like at an angle. Without obstructing the field of view, you can look at it and you can focus the lens and get an idea of the image. This could be an 8x10 format shoebox camera. That's what I'm hoping. Okay, this is the view looking out my spare bedroom window. So I'm just going to pull the Fuji lens in and out. About there, it looks like it's pretty well focused. So I'm going to have to focus this, something like that, to within a couple centimeters of the front of the box, extended. Yeah, like that. Maybe a centimeter or two. So I like the idea of, instead of a ground glass view screen that's translucent and you're looking through the back of the screen, I like the idea that I have like a side front opening peep sight, and I can look at the projection of the image onto the inside of the film plane from the front side, at least for composition purposes. I basically need to just tape up the corners of the box. There's only a few light leaks. This is just a piece of cardboard folded up, right? So I'm going to use some of my classic techniques of black gaffers tape to tape up the corners of the box, and I'll probably make a peep sight kind of a tape thing where you can uncover this and look in there, and then I'll load it with an 8x10 sheet of photo paper in the darkroom. Of course, I won't be using the peep sight viewer once the paper's in there, but I can get kind of an idea right ahead of time. Load a sheet of paper in there. I have an accurate modern shutter on this view camera lens, and it may not totally cover 8x10, but the idea is I'll have the full image circle of this lens on an 8x10 sheet of paper, and then I can choose to crop it however I want afterwards in post. A shoebox camera, do we dare call it the Merrill Cam? I like the orange and black color scheme, however. Oh, hi. Hey there. I'm just playing with a shoebox. Nothing. No, it's just a shoebox, really. So if you are going to build one of these cameras out of a cardboard box that isn't normally light tight, you need to use some light tight tape. And I always recommend to people to use ProGaff brand gaffers tape. So when I say gaffers tape, cloth tape with rubber adhesive. There's a lot of fake gaffers tape out there on the market that's really just black duct tape. But you want ProGaff. I've used it for years. It holds up very well. I've made camera bellows out of this stuff, and it still works after 15 years. Okay, this gap right here in the box lid along the three sides is what I'm worried about, and definitely I'm having light leaks because I can peek in it and see light coming in. So, what is the best solution? Well, I think the best solution is black foam core board. I'm going to put some foam core board, like right here, some strips of it along the three sides of the box. Black foam core is like second best to black Pro Gaff gaffers tape as far as building these quick camera projects. Alright, let's see if we can do this. Just don't cut yourself with the X-Acto knife. see here. Looks really dark to me, and now I can focus this guy on my studio lights, which are pretty close, but pretty cool. Okay, we need a focusing mechanism for this lens, an in and out focusing mechanism. Well, okay, so what we have is an inner lens board, basically lens board holder. It has a little gap in here that the bottom of the lens board fits into, and it goes in like that. There's going to be a little foam core insert then they put in here to keep the top of the lens board from moving, and then this whole thing fits into this box, which is going to be attached to the lid of the camera. The inner box fits in the outer box and enables you to focus the camera like that. Well, I have some lines marked here where I'm going to cut a rectangular hole in the front of the box, and then this focusing rectangle will fit into the front of the box, and you'll have like a little bit of coverage here for the gap between the inner and outer, so there won't be any light leaks. Well, okay, so I have gaffer taped all around it after I hot glued it inside and out, so it feels very rigid. What I'm doing to hold the lens board in place is I have a piece of foam core here that's longer than the width, the inside width of the lens holder. You put it in kind of sideways, and then you move it up until it's near parallel, and it jams against the side walls and makes it so it's nice and rigid. That fits into the camera like that. Well, in order to make sure that the box stays closed, I've put a screw and this knob here, and that keeps this gap tightly closed. So to close the box, you just sort of bend a little bit and then get the bolt to come through the hole. Screw it down like that, nice and tight. So let's just review the features, shall we? There is a peep sight focuser that you cover up with gaffer's tape. There is an adjustable focus by pulling the inner lens holder in and out, securing it in place with the thumbtack so it doesn't slide, and then you can open and close and secure the rear lid with this thumb screw. And so I'm going to go load some 8x10 paper in this box. I'm also going to get my chemistry poured up in the darkroom, and then I guess I'll set up a still life shot here in my office on the studio table, because this is kind of one of the venues that I envision using this camera in. Indoor, artificial lighting. I'm independent of having to rely on daytime outside and good weather or whatever. I can just do still lifes, maybe portraits or whatever in here. Okay, I have a little still life set up here on my video table. This is one of these test dummy heads that beauticians and barbers use in barber school. It's kind of a creepy face, which is perfect. So I'm using this wooden plate mounted to the tripod, and then I have the camera bungee corded to the wooden plate. So I basically get the shot composed and focused, and then I disconnect the plate from the tripod head, move it into the darkroom, take the bungee cords off, load the paper, put the bungee cords back onto the plate, and mount it to the tripod again, so hopefully the composition is pretty close to what it should be. Well, for mounting these box cameras to the tripod, a lot of them, because they're cardboard or thin-walled cameras, they don't have room to mount a tripod bushing in the camera itself. So this is what I've been using for a lot of years, is just a scrap of wood, and I mount a 1/4-20 tripod nut inside of it, and then I can use the mounting plate to my tripod on it. This one actually had two other 1/4-20 mounts that were for like a set of cameras. And then before I've loaded the paper, of course, I've opened up the little peep sight viewer, and I've focused the composition onto the back of the box camera by sliding the lens box in and out, and then I set the focus using the thumbtack. Push the thumbtack in, that basically keeps the box from significantly moving, and I'm relying on depth of focus for any minute errors. Okay, well, it's time to make the exposure. Okay, I've already measured the exposure with the meter, and it's going to be 4 seconds. So here we go. Ready? And hold the lens board still. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004. All right. Let's process the negative and see what we get. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is really interesting. Well, this is for all the doubters out there who thought it wouldn't work. There's a lot of cynics in the world, but hey, look at this. With all the potential problems that this camera could present, I have a dang good first picture. I mean, this is really spectacular. The focus right on the eyes, the out of focus background. It looks like I have a circular image area, roughly 8 inches in diameter. It's really interesting. And let's see what we get here. Well, I think it looks pretty dang good, considering it was taken underwater. Maybe that's a new thing, underwater camera scanning of paper negatives. Interesting. Maybe that's a thing that helps the surface glare of the print when you're trying to illuminate it to take a photo. Maybe underwater scanning. Anyways, let's talk about the image. Well, here is the negative and a contact print. The contact print was made onto Ilford multi-grade warm tone RC paper, and I used a grade of 3 on the contrast filtering. This was 9-second exposure, using my enlarger as the contact printing light source. So I really like the way it looks. So just looking at the negative, first of all, I can tell that I have image detail all the way down from the bottom up to the top, and I'm seeing basically the same thing on the print. I have faint, like zone 1, zone 2 detail here, and I can still see the faint highlights on the bookshelf behind the model up here. And then as far as the extent left and right on the negative, I see a real faint area here and all the way out to almost, well, basically here with this little thing here. And I'm seeing the same thing pretty much here. At least I have this little highlight here, which is this one. This little faint detail in the shadows on this particular print are quite dark, and I probably should fine-tune the contact print next time and get a little bit more shadow detail. This was just a quick contact print. I'll probably do it again with a lower contrast filter, a little bit more exposure so I can lift the shadows. But yeah, I can definitely see this circular zone, this circular image circle, like right in the middle here, and that's really kind of what I was looking for. Interestingly enough, I can still see some detail in the prints that are down here on the table. Again, the shadows are slightly dark. That's just the contact print. It needs to be fine-tuned. But, you know, I'm really happy with this. This is quite dramatic, quite interesting of a print, and a great first result. Well, this is probably indicative of a lot of the camera making projects I've done over the years. A long time ago, decades ago, I started doing this before YouTube, and you guys didn't see the process. But here's a little glimpse into the process of the mad scientist brain up here, cobbling together out of foam core and gaffer's tape and an old shoebox a camera that actually makes interesting images, and it opens up the possibility of being able to do this in the future in my little studio here under artificial lighting, day or night. So what you really need to do this, the most essential ingredient is a little darkroom. The most minimal darkroom perhaps, but a way to process black and white paper. And you can kind of use a bathroom, or you could even use a changing tent and a developing tank. There's a lot of ways to get creative with a simple black and white darkroom, so you can process paper negatives and also hopefully contact print them under a sheet of glass, use a light source. There's a lot of creative ways to do this, but that's the most essential thing to camera building, is making sure you have a darkroom set up, a little simple black and white darkroom. And it's all about the creativity, because that opens up an entire world of creativity to me. That is the most essential thing for my camera making, is my little humble darkroom. And I encourage you guys to consider that. It really opens up a world of creativity. And as always, I hope you stay creative. Have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye for now.